I thought I was in control, um, but I wasn't. And the reality was, I was ignoring all of the signs that I have seen in my lifetime in several different situations, overcoming situational depression over and over again. Every time is a new low, and you just don't feel in the moment. You just don't feel like, or maybe you ignore all the signs and you don't realize exactly what's going on. And it took 6 months to completely destroy years of building up myself, because I always struggled with confidence, uh, a whole bunch of stuff. The person I was looking back at me in the mirror, I was never, and still to this day, even knowing that I have regressed this far in such a short amount of time, it's not something that is an easy thing to overcome. And even in the slightest moment of weakness, it can dissipate like that. So I wanted to do a video and just kind of use my experience, as which the nature of this channel is to use my experience to help change people's lives. Um, I always, I realize that a lot of, sometimes that's not going to come across to everybody in that manner, but those people, that these videos aren't for those people. If that's the case, the hope is that there's one person behind the screen that's looking and knows what this feels like. And again, these experiences, the way I talk about them, hopefully providing helpful tips, is for you guys, and hopefully it helps someone somewhere. So, 6 months of self sabotage, it's brought me to this point now. And one thing that I always wanted to, the thought behind this channel and using social media for good is for this, and also a way to document my personal journey. I realize over as I've done some self reflection, and have come to the realization that at the last 6 months of my life have been tremendous. I ignored all the warning signs, the people around me who tried to help, but it's hard because sometimes you just don't. It's difficult because you realize that they're there to help you, but you can't mentally get out of that hole. No matter what someone or who, family, loved ones, whatever the case is, say, it really has to come from within you. If you don't see it, then you really can't fix it. And there's so much distraction that goes on within your own head. The own battle inside your mind is a tough one. And for me, a lot of trauma when I was growing up. Uh, so finding ways to try to overcome those, equipping myself with tools and skills to surpass all of the negativity that surrounds me. At any given moment, it is an everyday battle sometimes, but um, we've gotten to the point where it needs to change, and I've realized that because it's led to a lot of poor decisions that have hurt the people around me. So again, just kind of wanted to do a video and kind of just outline that reality, in hopes that it maybe puts things into perspective for anyone else out there who might be going through something similar. Um, it's difficult, and you need to rely on the people around you. If you are hearing things like you seem off, you know, you're not the same person, people can change, but you have to realize through a self reflection manner that am I changing because of outside circumstances, or am I changing because I've been negatively affected in some sort of way, whether that's from some sort of traumatic event, or trauma that you just still haven't overcome. I've realized in the last couple of weeks during my self reflection that I still am not quite over some of the other past situational depression that I've gone through, and some traumas from my childhood that subconsciously rear its ugly head at the moments where I don't need them to do that. And it's still, to this point in my life, I'm 33, about to be 34. It's still very difficult for me. And I want to use this as a way to document my journey through it, as a way to help the community who also struggle with what I struggle with, because I know there's a lot of people out there, and it's easy for people. I've done therapy, and it helps, but I feel like having a community of like-minded individuals, not as a way to just kind of like put your negativity out there and say, well, poor me, because that's, at the end of the day, that's not what this is about. I want to empower people to take action in their own lives. And there's several different factors that go into, becoming your best self. And that's what I want to do. And throughout my life, I've been in really good mindsets where I'm doing videos. I'm active on social media for the right things. I'm putting positive knowledge into my head that allows me to grow physically, mentally, spiritually, for both my career, my family. And it's very important to me that I stay in that right frame of mind, because obviously, for obvious reasons, it's a much more conducive environment to facilitating becoming that person. For me, I just recently had my daughter. My wife and I had our first child. She's almost 4 months now, so I think that was about the time when when during my self reflection, that I can kind of pinpoint exactly when things start to go downhill. My wife was struggling with the pregnancy. She just didn't feel. She had a lot of nausea, and she just didn't feel great for a big portion of her pregnancy. And I wasn't the most supportive husband that I could have been, that I should have been. That selfishly, I sort of like enjoyed the time away. And I know now. I mean, I kind of always known that when I get into those, negative frame of mind, that mindset, that my selfish nature kind of comes to the forefront, and I tend to just want to be alone. And listen, to be honest, I'm that way already. I do a lot of things. I get a lot of empowerment from doing things on my own, but I also realize that in the same breath, that's also one of the things that really, you know, contributes to these situations that I find myself in, where I'm going into a depression and I'm not feeling like myself. So how do you balance that? Um, I'm still trying to figure that out, and I am willing to put in the work. So, alluding back to where I was going before I kind of went down that rabbit hole, is I want to use this as a way to document the journey of getting back to the person that I know I can be. I'm very much in love with health, wellness, and I was doing a lot of that. Um, before my child was born, and before things really started to go south, I was, felt like I was getting in the best shape of my life, and now more than ever, it's imperative that I get back to that, not just for myself, but for my daughter's sake. I want to be an example, a positive example for what it looks like to live a fulfilling life. And not just from a career standpoint, but from being the best husband I can be, feeding my body and my mind with things that contribute to the good and not the bad. I struggled a lot with, for me, my vices are video games, and so there's always a level of, there's always that level of like, well, it's not that bad because you do it, and I do enjoy it, but also you have to understand that what is the overall value of what you're doing. If it's a net negative versus a net positive, it's probably something that you just should not do. For for you listening, whatever that looks like, it could be alcohol, marijuana, whatever the case is. There's a lot of stuff out there that contribute to the negative mindset and that negative way of life that people just have a hard time realizing, because it's so easy to have like the horse blinders on, and you get so fixated on one thing. And I definitely tend to get in that frame of mind very easily. So for me, it's got to be a lot of journaling. It's got to be, the busier I am, the less likely that I am to fall into these habits. And so that's what I want to focus on. That's what I want to, again, document. I want to get back to showcasing what it looks like to overcome challenges and help you guys do the same. So for the sake of just keeping this as trim as possible, again, I don't make these types of videos for attention. That's the last thing I need. That's the last thing I want. There's a lot of good positive outcomes that can happen from creating a community of like-minded individuals who don't use their trauma for the negative side, of the attention grabbers. Society has enough of that already. We all have a story. We've all been through certain things in our lives, and we can use that to become the best person that we can possibly be for our loved ones, for ourselves, for your kids, whatever that looks like for you. That's the journey that I want to help you guys with. And again, I do a lot of things based off of experience. Like I mentioned, I've been in very good situations in my life, and again, I I'm successful. I do pretty well from a career standpoint, but that's not what it's all about. You can have all the money in the world. You can have the most ideal job. You can have all the love in the world from people around you or individuals that are maybe in the social spotlight. And sometimes you can look at those people and their lives are out there to see, and you can see that they're depressed and that they're just not doing well. So the limelight and all that jazz is not what it's all about. It's about helping people become their best selves and finding success for whatever that looks like for you. Like I said, for me, that's to become a better husband, to be a father to my daughter, a better father than what my dad was. And my dad he was a good father. He was good to us. He could have done a lot more in terms of helping himself, which, in turn helps us. So that's what this is all about. Again, I don't want to get long-winded. I want to keep this short because I want these videos to showcase my journey of overcoming, and hopefully these videos help you. So, with all that being said, feel free to drop comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. The expectation for this channel moving forward is self growth centered, some fitness and health and wellness related stuff. And again, I want to take the next 30 days and really document what the hard work process looks like when you're coming out of a 6-month self-sabotaging mind frame. And for some of us, for some of you, some of us, I mean, we're in this together. It's been a lot longer for you. 6 months is a long time, but I have been in situations where I went years, maybe like some of you, where things didn't seem to be going right. I was completely negligent to treating myself with respect, treating the others around me with respect, despite having people tell me that and potentially seeing the writing on the wall. So feel free to join me in this journey. Like I said, I will be posting videos just following and documenting what that looks like. And I'd love for you to join because, like I said, I want to help as many people as possible. So we'll see you in the next videos. I appreciate all the love that you guys would show. And again, let's become our best selves. We're all equipped with the skills and the ability to overcome anything that life throws at us. I'll leave you with this. Resiliency is within all of us. You just got to drop the fear and be able to put one step and one foot in front of the other and walk the path that it takes to get you there.